Harigam dear ones. The final and the 10th incarnation of the supernatural power is Kalki. Everybody thinks that Kalki is someone who will appear at the end of the current phase of the time and space of the world, which is Kali Yuga. But it's wrong actually. See, it's a wrong opinion and belief that he will only come at the end of the Kali Yuga. Just like his earlier versions of the software, like if you take Narasimha, the incarnation, or probably Rama or Krishna, the version of the software, the version of the previous software with its own traits, along with the energy, would always be there in the cosmos. It never goes out of it. It never goes out of the main consciousness. Meaning, you will be able to invoke the old software. You will be able to invoke the earlier versions of the cosmic CEO, like Rama or Krishna. In the same way, the future related software versions would also be there in the same consciousness. Actually, the cosmic consciousness with its own traits at various permutations and combinations of traits, they form together X, Y, Z, anger, Dharma, love, and all these together. Some kind of software package would be ready. You call it Krishna or Rama or Kalki. Various versions. This is one package. This is one other package. Something like that. But the future related software would also be there in the same consciousness. It doesn't go out of it. Or it gets newly born. It doesn't get born. It's always there. So as per the problem of the current time and space of the world, that is, the evolution of cosmic consciousness is running far behind, meaning it has fallen far behind from the expected rate. The current phase of the world, everyone knows that it's in the hands of negative energies. But the control of the actual cosmic consciousness would always be there in the hands of the cosmic CEO. It will never totally get into the hands of negative energies or positive energies. The earlier three eras, that is Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, were ruled mainly by positive energies. But then this Kali Yuga, the current phase, is ruled by the negative energies. Though the ruling happens by them, the actual control of the nature is the governance. The actual control of the nature would never be in the hands of either positive energies or in the hands of negative energies. It will always be in the hands of the cosmic CEO. They are passively given the ruling, both energies. But to make sure that the nature or the creation doesn't go out of its existence, so the actual control will always be there in the hands of the cosmic CEO or God, whatever you call it. So as the evolution has fallen far behind from its expected rate, to protect the nature from future dangers that are going to come. Actually, the dangers for the human consciousness has already started, especially from this year onwards, from 2020 onwards. The COVID that has come in 2020 is that only. And it's going to be, the dangers are going to be more and more, and worse situations humanity is going to face. Future generations are going to face worse, dangerous situations in the world. But all of them, all those dangers are going to be quite difficult for the human consciousness to face. And the existence of creation itself would be challenged through those danger situations. So, by foreseeing those dangers and all, the cosmic CEO, with the help of nature, with the request of nature, has taken the management of the current phase of the consciousness, of the cosmic consciousness, into his hands. And he came to the world by taking the body in late 70s, like 79, or early 80s, like 79 and 80, 81, in these 3 years. His physical existence came in the world, and from then on, through the senses of that body, he's been watching the whole world. And then that body has traveled to many places across the world to observe various cultures, minds of people, their languages, the way their minds function, and various other things were actually observed. And if you see the way he appears, they say that, he comes on horse with a sword. No, actually it doesn't mean that he literally comes on horse by holding a sword. Horse actually is the meaning of speed, the kind of fast-paced evolution that he is going to bring in the human consciousness. He is the significance of his horse. He is going to bring a very fast evolution in the human consciousness that has never happened on the earth so far. That kind of fast-paced technology of human consciousness he brings. And then the sword actually means that he cuts the illusion with the sword of knowledge, pure knowledge, with pure vision of the self. He cuts the Maya. That's the sign of horse and sword. It doesn't mean that he actually goes by horse and by holding a sword. So the point actually, why I have mentioned this thing is that from 1980s onwards, if you see the evolution of infrastructure in the world, from 1980s onwards, you would see a lot of development in electronics, in the field of electronics and engineering. That electronics actually brought computers into the world, and then those computers brought the software into the world, and then the software got further evolved into smartphones now. It's all if you look back 20 years, especially 20-25 years, you would see fast-paced development in the world in terms of technology and in terms of human consciousness, because it's humans who are using that technology. If you see this journey over the last 25 years of humanity, it was towards more making the humans subtler and subtler, meaning they were driven towards more mind, not towards the physicality, but towards the virtuality, because it's the mind that you experience everywhere in the world. So the virtuality came into existence for the experience of humanity in the form of software. So software actually only businesses used to use software systems earlier, but then that evolved further and then came on to internet, and then many more people started using it, and then now that has even come down to smartphones. Today many more people, even uneducated people who did not even pass out high school and all, would be able to use smartphones, and they are even placing orders using e-commerce. See, to use the technology, you don't need to be educated as per the education of the physical world. It's all the inner education that you have that is making you to use the smartphones. So even uneducated people are able to browse through the smartphones, use all its features, use all their features, and then they are spending a lot of time in terms of using the applications or software in the mobile phones. If you see this specific thing, most of the people are spending more time on their mobile phones today. Some people do not even know for what they are browsing, for what they are watching the videos or the content on internet using their smartphones. But they keep on killing the time just simply browsing through the smartphones. It's actually a kind of strategy of the nature. No, it's actually a kind of strategy of the cosmic CEO who came down to evolve the human consciousness by involving them in virtuality. So by involving more in the virtuality and its technology, people are more wasting their negative energies. Meaning, they are spending more time on mobile phones. If mobile phones are not there, imagine today, most of the people would have a lot of free time, and they would use that free time for doing so many negative activities in the world. So all that negativity is actually killed in a way by bringing this smartphones, software technology and all into the world. So it's actually a kind of push technology that works in the nature, that makes the humanity or human consciousness to get ready for certain things, for certain advanced technologies. And it is meant, and they cannot avoid this situation. Now you cannot say that you don't want to use smartphones, or you don't know how to use smartphones and all. You cannot say. If you say that, you will not be able to live properly. You will not be able to work well in your professions. You will not be able to run your lives very well and things like that without smartphones. So in a way, nature or the cosmic CEO, in a way, the cosmic CEO has pushed the whole humanity to get more and more subtler in terms of mind space. So the software or the applications that you use on the mobile phones is nothing but the mind. You basically navigate or browse through the mind. The videos, the web content, etc. that you browse is totally the mind, the virtuality. So human consciousness is now geared up for some other advanced technology that is going to come soon. The actual technology that brings change in the human consciousness is the spiritual technology. Listen to this. The actual technology, the whole world is actually working based on the seabed of cosmic consciousness. That you are aware anyways. So this is the source code based on which all objects in the world are functioning. Human beings, all science, technology, everything is running on the seabed. Now, the strategy of the cosmic CEO who came in 1980s, he wanted to actually evolve this physical world first, because he is going to bring in future more advanced spiritual technology. If the humans have to gear up for this advanced spiritual technology, they need to evolve. So for that evolution, he did not bring any spiritual gurus and all to teach software and all to the humanity. See, it's a different technology, it's a different approach altogether that was not there earlier. So he evolved the humanity by introducing them this electronics and software technology, which is nothing but he geared up the humanity to get more subtler in terms of mind. So they are now geared up. And because they are geared up, now this spiritual technology is being introduced to them. So the humanity first was introduced to electronics in 80s and all, and then in 90s computers came, and then computers started developing software technologies, and then it further got into internet, and then it further got into smartphones. This is where exactly the whole humanity has reached the perfect evolution. Meaning, the smartphones now have reached most of the humans on the earth. So they are able to use this software. So initially the software was not used by all humans, only business executives used to use. But now it has gone to ordinary man, a common man. It's gone to common man. So the subtle mind is being used, or it is being sharpened by using smartphones now. So now human consciousness is ready to face the advanced spiritual technology. Just like any other field, any other field means professional field I am talking about. Let's say you talk about infrastructural field, the engineering field. Every field evolves, advances. We can talk about medical field, and that's got evolved so far on the earth. And you talk about electronics, it's got evolved. Software, it's got evolved. Any industry you take. In the same way, this is one point that will surprise you. Just like engineering or electronics or IT field or whatever the field you take on the earth, along with them, spirituality is also one field. This should surprise you basically. You must have not heard so far. Spirituality is a field from the cosmic sense, not from your sense. You do not know that sense at all. You are not aware of it totally. From the cosmic sense, spirituality or spirituality is also a field in which spirituality is practiced, just like the way doctor practices his treatment, just like the way a lawyer practices law. In the same way, spirituality is practiced by gurus and various other people who are trying to evolve. So that is also one kind of industry basically. That industry, spiritual industry, is basically stagnated by old technologies. They still talk about using this pranayama, and then they still talk about the old fashioned chakras and various other sutras, especially of Patanjali and all these. These are all stagnated technologies. Though they are strong, just like the way the IT industry got involved, just like the way engineering got evolved, in the same way spirituality also needs to be evolved. I remember actually in 90s and all, I was in software profession. I used to meet some old people, and they used to say that this software and all is new, and we cannot use the software, we are not capable enough to use that software, and the software is actually going to put many jobs out, because we cannot gear up for using, we cannot gear up to use softwares, we will lose our jobs and all, they used to say. But you see, the evolution did not stop there. When the new technology comes, that is how the grey-haired people, especially stagnated people, they will never be ready psychologically to use the new technology. They are so rigid to welcome the new technology. But the evolution of software did not stop because of those grey-haired people. It got evolved, it went into businesses, and from there it came on to internet, and from there it came on to the hands of a common man today as software applications in the mobiles, and everybody is using it.